Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. Today I want to do a video to tell you about why some of the Trumps of the world, the Donald Trumps, succeed and win when they arguably have, quote, less knowledge than some of the people that end up losing. Right, and I'm not going to make this a whole election thing. I don't care about your political views. You know that I'm not anyone's patsy. I'm not anyone's sucker. I don't belong specifically to anyone. So I don't want to get into that. But it's arguable, right? Regardless of which side you're on, and do we really have to be on sides? But regardless, it's pretty arguable that a lot of people have pointed out oftentimes, and it's not just Trump, but I'll use this as an example. Some people have said, well, Donald Trump, he doesn't have as much knowledge as someone like Hilary Clinton. She's obviously clearly more educated, clearly has more knowledge. And whether that's true or not, I'm not entirely sure. I can't really judge. I'm not sure how any of us could really judge, but at a surface level, this certainly appears to be the case. It's certainly a valid argument that someone could make. And so why is it that these people could have this knowledge, have this superior knowledge, and not win in life? And let's take this beyond the politics, right? Because I know some people if you're getting agitated right now, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to realize that this is most of what you're agitated about doesn't actually really affect your life personally, okay? It's important to understand this, that you've been kind of inflamed by media, by other people, and you need to kind of let that part of you relax and just say, all right, I can just accept things without feeling I have to change everything or that it's so deeply impactful to me, right? You can hold some of these ideas a little bit lighter, a little bit less to the chest, right? Loosen your grip a little and say, okay, I can just accept reality, because I just want you to do that a little bit. Breathe a little bit. Let's be friends. Let's remember why we're here on this planet, and it's not to destroy and bring down people, right? Regardless if we agree with them. There's certain people that would create divisive wedges between us, and we can't let that happen. I don't expect a lot of that from those of you that watch these videos, but I just want to remind you of that. So let's talk about some other examples too, right? I think this is pointed out. The reason why I'm making this video is because this has been pointed out to me multiple times of different people that have less knowledge. And I'm going to tell you why these people that either perceived or reality, definitely in reality, there are a lot of these cases where people have less knowledge, okay, less knowledge than their opponent, yet they succeed. Why is that? Why do sometimes idiots, right? People that we think are idiots have so much success and they win? Why is it sometimes that, like, what's supposed to happen is that jock guy that was the leader of the quarterback on the football team? That dude, after high school, he was supposed to fail, and you, who have all the knowledge, you're this computer nerd geek guy who was picked on in high school, you were supposed to succeed. But what happened? That jock dude, that guy that was the quarterback, he became the friggin' CEO of this company, or he launched his own company and he made millions of dollars, and he's still just as much of a freaking jackass retard as he was before. And here are you've expanded your knowledge. You're supposed to get your dues now. The girls are supposed to be flocking to you, right? Because you're supposed to be making all this money, and you're doing okay. But what is this guy doing even better than you? Now, that might not always be the case, right? But I'm sure that there's some of those that it defies what's supposed to happen. And you see this, right? You see this all the time. You see successful, very, very successful business people, even elected people, and you're like, wow, this person is an idiot. They're just lacking knowledge, right? And again, I'm not taking don't interpret this to what I said at the beginning. I'm not putting this out for specifically, I'm not saying Trump, right? But there's a lot of cases, and so a lot of people do think that about him, right? So how is this happening? How is this possible? How could this thing happen? How could it be that someone with less knowledge, clearly less knowledge, succeeds more, and this happens quite a lot, than someone with superior knowledge, right? We see this, you know. I joined Mensa. I'm not active right now, and part of the reason why I'm not active right now is because I went into a few Mensa meetings, and a lot of times, like, you walk into the room, okay, and it's a bunch of like people living at home with their parents. They're like 30 years old, 40 years old. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're fucking brilliant. You should be doing more with your life. Why are you like poor? You're a genius, right? You know all this trivial facts. Like you had all this capability and potential. You've got all this knowledge. You're smarter than people that are way more successful than you, but you're not successful. You're like a loser. Why are there so many damn losers in Mensa? Why? Why is that, right? Why do you find these places where a lot of intellectuals gather and they're failures? Not every intellectual is a failure. Trust me, there's a lot of smart people that are really successful. But why do you see that so often, right? Have you asked yourself this question? Or maybe you are this. Maybe you, like I said before, you're the failure and you're like, what the fuck? I deserve better than this. I'm the smart person here. What's going on? I know I'm building the anticipation. I know you're wanting to hear the answer to this, but I want to paint the picture really, really clearly so you understand what I'm getting at, because this is highly, highly offensive to some of you. I understand that. It doesn't make sense, but hopefully what I tell you will help you to make sense of this a little bit more. I'm trying to think of more examples. There's a ton of examples out there, though. I'm sure that you can pick examples where you feel like someone who is an idiot basically has a ridiculous amount of success, and maybe you don't, or people who are smarter don't. I think one person said that, you know, there were some comments. Again, I don't want to call anyone directly out, but some people made comments about some video I did about Obamacare, I think, here, right? And some people said, and some people emailed me too, so, and they said, you know, well, what about these brilliant economists? Because I said something in there about like, if you're, and I'll have to do a video on this, but essentially if you're poor, you're probably not economically brilliant, okay? And some people are, well, what about these economically brilliant economists who are poor, who became poor? What's going on there? Right? There's a lot of these instances, a lot of academics, right? That you know, and people make all kinds of justifications for this, but I'm going to tell you the real reason why. Now's the time. So the reason why the Trumps of the world win, and the reason why the people with more knowledge don't, is because the Trumps of the world, regardless of how much knowledge they have, the little knowledge that they may possess, again, I'm not judging, I don't know what Trump's real knowledge is, but the little knowledge, whatever knowledge they possess, whatever little knowledge that they may possess, they use it effectively. They apply that knowledge as much as possible. They get as much mileage, as much leverage out of that as possible. Right? So, you know, and you could take real estate, for instance. Some people have criticized Grant Cardone, right? I like Grant Cardone. I consider him a very high level mentor. You can check out the book reviews I've done on his books here. He's an awesome dude. But I have heard him talk a little bit about real estate sometimes, and sometimes I've heard him talk live. And some people have criticized him and said, he doesn't sound really that smart. I mean, the guy is like a multi-millionaire. I mean, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate investment. And someone had said, well, I heard him talking on this real estate podcast, and honestly, he knows a lot less than most of the people that are interviewed on that podcast, and even most of the listeners. He knows less than I do about real estate. Now, I don't know if that's true. He certainly may have come across that way, but I'll tell you what, like, so let's say that he's got 10% of the knowledge of someone who knows everything about real estate investment. But that person who knows everything about real estate investment is this freaking genius. They take all that knowledge, and you know what they do? They use a small fraction of that, if any of it. They might not even invest in any properties at all, and they don't take any risk, and they don't apply that knowledge. But let's say that Grant Cardone, again, I don't know him, I don't know, but let's say that he's got a sliver. Let's say he just knows how to do this one thing. He knows how to buy these apartment complexes, and he knows how to find the person that can find the deal, and he doesn't even understand the return on investment or all that, but he just knows a little enough to be able to execute on this one thing, and it works for him, and he does it well, and he keeps on executing that one thing. Guess who's going to win? It's going to be Grant in that case. It's going to be the person with the less knowledge. And that's where it is the same thing. You go back to that jock situation, the high school quarterback who's an idiot. But he figured out a few things in life. He probably figured out how to make people like him. He probably figured out how to use that to make deals. And maybe he got just a little bit of economics, a little bit of business knowledge to get to the point where he could figure out how to shake hands, find the powerful people, and make deals with them and get them to like him, even though he doesn't really understand how to run a business or any of these things. He's just got this small amount of knowledge, but he applied it and he kept on hitting. He executed, right? The same thing that made him do double days in high school football, right? In order to, that was tough, like doing double, when I say double days, it's a double workout, right? The same drive and determination that made him succeed there is what made him succeed in business. Even though he had very little knowledge, he took that knowledge and he applied that knowledge over again with such determination and such ferocity, such hunger, that he succeeded with little. So it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to be a genius, right? There's just so many people that we could point to and you say, wow, how is this? How are they so damn successful? Right? And some people have even, hit me with this, right? So people say, oh, John, freaking, what the hell? You don't even, I'm so much smarter. Some of you are it's true. Like, you're so much better programmer than me, right? You know a lot more than me. And you know more philosophy and more about evolution and math and all this stuff. I mean, some of you think you do and you don't, but some of you actually do. Honestly, you do. Like, I'm not a fucking genius, okay? I've got a certain amount of knowledge. I have a decent amount, I think. I try to gather as much as I can. I read like 50, 60 books a year. So I'm certainly, educated. But there's a lot of you that are out there that are way more educated than me, and you're pissed off at me. You're like, Jan, he's on YouTube. I even know more about fitness than him, and I've got a fucking beer belly. Like, I can't believe, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. Well, you know what? The little bit of knowledge that I have, right? I'm applying that. Someone said, oh, in my career, I think one of my career videos, that I did this series on my career, right? And I've made some idiot bonehead mistakes, and sometimes I've been promoted up beyond my competency level, right? Sometimes I play that up a little bit because I want you to know that I do screw up. But someone's like, this is bullshit. You got paid a $200,000 a year salary, and you couldn't make it was difficult for you to make a custom Android control? What are you, friggin' idiot? That's so unfair in life. I could do that, and I didn't get that. And my answer is, it wasn't about that. It was about what I was doing and how I was hustling and applying the little knowledge that I had. Yeah, there's a lot of people that were technically way more competent than me. When I was doing all my pluralsight courses and doing all that, there were tons of people that knew more than me, but they didn't take action. They didn't do something with their lives. They didn't take this massive knowledge they had and apply it. They're like those Mensa kids, and I say kids, but they're 34 years old, and they're living with their parents, and they're playing Scrabble, right? Instead of running businesses, instead of building things, instead of taking the knowledge that they have and applying it and making some out of their life by taking knowledge plus hard work plus determination plus perseverance and courage to actually take the steps and the actions, instead of doing that, they're pontificating about how smart they are, and they're trying to prove how smart they are, and they're challenging each other about their intellectual capacity, and they're very puffed up and proud about this, and they think the world is unfair and that it hasn't given them a chance and it doesn't understand the value that they have. but they haven't shown the value. So when people get upset about the election and they say Trump's an idiot, which I don't know, I've read a decent amount of his books. He's got knowledge. He's not an idiot. He's smart, okay? He's a smart businessman. He knows a thing or two about real estate, and at least he's smart enough to know how to assemble a team of advisors. He's got that. He's done that a lot. He knows how to, right? He's got some areas, but arguably, I've read some things that he's written in his books, and I've been like, really? Really? I've been surprised by some of the statements he said. But when you wonder, why does someone like that win? And not just one time. Like, why do they have a history of freaking destroying their competition and winning? Why? It comes down to one simple thing. They are the experts of taking the little knowledge that they have and applying it over and over again in massive ways. It doesn't take a lot. It takes determination and action. You can do a lot with a little, but it's all up to you. You got to do. And if you don't do, it doesn't matter how much friggin' knowledge you have. It doesn't matter how much smarter than everyone else you are. You don't get credit for that shit. No one cares. You could go, maybe if that's your case, then go be on Jeopardy and get your 5 minutes or your 15 minutes of fame, right? Until some AI computer takes you down. All right? But if you want to level the field, if you want to get what you deserve, then go out there and fucking get it. Go out there and take the knowledge you have, whether it be small or big, and apply it. That's what you got to do. Life is not unfair in that regard. And you got to realize that you got to step up and decide. And you got to realize that when these people win, who you think shouldn't win, what action, what massive action are they taking? Why are the Trumps, the Grant Cardones of the world, why are the idiot billionaires that you see sometimes, or millionaires, why are they so damn successful? Some of it, yes, they were given advantages that you weren't, and they had a silver spoon in their mouth. But a lot of them, no. They're just action takers. They take the knowledge they have, and they use it. So use it. If you like this video, if you haven't subscribed already, I'm going to give you an action to take. Click that subscribe button below, and we'll learn how to take action together. I will guide you on the journey. We will conquer life, and we will take the knowledge that we have, and we will be the ones who fucking apply it and make a difference in our lives and in other people's lives. If you want to join me on this journey, click the subscribe button below. If you don't, unsubscribe, get the fuck out of here. Let's only have action takers on this channel. Talk to you next time. Take care.